From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training podcast. I'm going to be one of the hosts for today. This one should be fun. Miss Vicky, you're here.
I am. I'm here.
Excellent. We have one of our faves. He's back again. He thought he was off the hook, but then he put out this announcement, and we had to talk about it.
I didn't put it out.
Well, somebody put it out and lit the internet on fire.
There's an announcement.
So with that, let's introduce Adam Jabaay.
I never like to preface a podcast that I'm going to be on with "this should be good."
It should be good. So, Adam, the internet knows everything. They know every single detail. So,
I've even heard details that I didn't know.
Why? I know, it's amazing. Why did you form a venture capital group to own Gridlife and then buy Pit Race and become your own data resource center? Is this true, Adam? Why did you do this?
These electric bills are getting so hard to pay. I figure I can cash in, dude.
So with your multi-billions of dollars that you've made over the years from Gridlife, you decided to start up an AI business.
That's actually all of everything you said in the last 10 seconds is completely false.
Don't quantify it only 10 seconds, Adam. I speak falsely all the time. So we saw this email come out from Grassroots Motorsports and Forbes and everybody, and then the world lit itself on fire. We tried to get you on. We've had scheduling fun. You played with Dewey because honestly, you love Dewey more, and we understand that. I mean, Dewey's a lovable kind of guy. He's not a little teddy bear. He's a big teddy bear, but great guy. But I thought we'd go over it and get into it. So
I appreciate it.
Congratulations on the I don't know if sale's the right word. I guess
it's more like a merger.
Yeah, kind of combining of resources and stuff.
Build a friend group, build our sales team to like the thing that makes racing go is sponsorship and partnership and like all the people you know. And the more people you know, the better it is for like your org and the people that are racing inside of your org and attending your events and blah, blah, blah. So it's really more like a build and grow and a build and grow. And also in the time of like sales or whatever you want to call this, we get to like eliminate some of the things that haunted us over the years, which is like you have a few bad festivals and like suddenly you have some debt that you're carrying around, and that affects the quality of your life and the sustainability of your business and all that. So like it really is like it's more of a this is not private equity. It's more of like definitely not private equity. It's they aren't looking to cash out. There's no timelines. There's no payback schedules. There's nothing like that.
No data center.
Yeah, they don't want. There's no data centers. I don't even want data centers. I've used like ChatGPT one time.
It doesn't give me anything good, so I don't use it.
The biggest thing is like turn this into a business that is a lot more bulletproof than it used to be. But also is kind of, like the best possible version of what it has been, what it could be, which is very exciting to us, especially like it's, we want to see it go and go and go. We want to see it be the thing that, especially for the large events, which is like everything on our calendar this year, the 6 events is a large event. We want to see those really, really work. And then maybe we get back to half a dozen club rounds / track day rounds, stuff like that. So it's like a best possible like version of 2026 for us. And this has been happening like it's been in the background, been talked about for quite a while. We felt like these are the right people to do this with. They really see the vision. They see the creativity in our team. They want the people in our team. They don't want to like touch motorsports. Like, you got this. Like, do whatever you do. Which is it's great to hear. So we're very excited about a lot of things.
So going back like years when you first came on, and you said this on your podcast, you still have a podcast, right?
We just did one the other day. Yeah.
Oh, look at you, fancy
Woohoo.
boy. Just making
For
sure,
like-
trying to clear up all the internet rumors. Going back originally, like the thing that always like made me happiest about Grid Life was you said you wanted to have the events that you friends wanted to go to. And I think this step that you guys are doing is a way for you to do that and be sustainable and maybe grow scope, or because you had to give up HPDEs. Like, you had this really nice system getting people out there. I think we did 2 or 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you were kind of hand to mouth, budget wise, because I know tracks obviously get rented for $5 a weekend, no problem there. And insurance, they pay you to go to the track, so they have something that could possibly cost them millions of dollars. So they obviously pay you. So you're making money, everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you got it figured out, Phil.
You mean that's not it? That tracks cost more than $5 and insurance doesn't pay you?
Oof. Man, if the people only knew like the money you spend just like putting on a basic day. Our simplest event, which isn't actually a Grid Life event, it's like a Chris and Adam event. It's our Honda Meet event. And even that is like, I mean, you spend the amount of money we spend just on like barbecue, like feed everybody on Saturday night. It's kind of but the track rentals for that, like just a simple event, no competition, no nothing. We've been doing it this is our 23rd year coming up on this year. And like the costs have gotten really like it's almost like an exponential thing if you look at it over 25, 20 whatever years. Like it's gotten very expensive. Like, and this hobby has gotten expensive too. And fuel prices are 3x, and insurance costs just to insure your street car is like 50% or more up or whatever. Like, we all know that like the daily cost of like life is high. And so like the unnecessaries definitely suffer, which is part of the reason that like we did make a strategic move to take a couple events out, because we do want to hang out with our friends year over year. A lot of them do come to a lot of events. So if there's like one less event, although we did intend for Pit Race to be on the schedule this year, but then the track evaporated. But like 1 or 2 less events, like it does make, it maybe makes the season more sustainable for drivers. But then in some cases it makes it like, oh, I got to drive a little further, like, there's just, this whole thing is just
You don't have to, though.
well, it's a series, like this hobby, and like also this is like a series of like, all right, what is the best worst decision? Like, what's the best decision that we don't want to have to make?
Yeah.
Like that's really, it's like everything's a Sophie's Choice or whatever that movie was from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It's her fault then. She bought Pit Race.
She might have. I'm not sure. Meryl Streep was in that movie. It's a series of decisions you don't want to have to make in order to like just be in existence. And hopefully this whole like this new group FMA allows us to, and some of the conversations that have just happened in the last couple of weeks, like and I'm not even in a lot of these conversations. This is like but a lot of these like the stuff that I'm hearing is absolutely crazy. The people that are interested, and the companies that are interested in partnering with this new group and using the talents of this new group to build their businesses. It's very exciting. Even since I was on Heat Exchanger like 2 or 3 weeks ago, talking with James. And I recorded with Austin and Abe on our podcast like the day before we announced, and then Abe put it out for like a week because he was like riding a bicycle in Italy or something.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to get his 100 miles every day.
Gotta get those pedals in. But the things that like the conversations I'm hearing about, and the conversations we're having, and the people that want to work with this new group, it's a very exciting time. Like this is how maybe Gridlife gets to go on. because there's been a lot of times where we were back against the wall, like small business stuff, and maybe it wasn't going to work. Like this is a very difficult business, and you probably hear that from like NASA regions. You hear that from
Mm-hmm.
all the people that I know that like are regional chairman of like SCCA orgs and stuff. Like there's like 100 some SCCA regions, but like none of them are having a great time. This is all very difficult. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so when we got the chance to like jump into a bigger talent pool of like sponsorship salespeople and like just networking, like the biggest thing is it's like not what you know, it's like who you know in business. And the thing that makes Gridlife go is actually the business behind it. Um, like the people that make the track events happen, John, myself, and like a killer team of like 15, 20 people. They like it's why would they change that? Like we already do a pretty okay-ish job, in my opinion, of like hosting a really tight, busy competition weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to do that. The fact that we get to keep doing that, that's like the biggest win for me. So
Right. So I think you lost me a little bit when you guys missed the opportunity because I noticed that looking at your face the last couple of years, seeing how you were, and just reading body expressions, I think you guys had the opportunity. Instead of FMA, I would lobby hard if it's not too late. FML. FML would have fit your personality after the past couple of years. I'm just saying it's a marketing thing. I'm an engineer. I'm not great at this creativity stuff, but there's an opportunity there, I think.
uh, I didn't get to name it the group, and I'm glad I didn't get to name the group. So
Okay, I mean,
No pressure, right?
you do you. FMA was good, but FML, I think FML could be the way to go.
force equals mass times acceleration or
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever. The
Sure.
FML means force. No, it's not force.
Uh,
Huh. It's not clicking, but I think you had a chance there.
There's a four-letter word in there something.
Somewhere. Yeah, those are about where my brain starts to lose. I can't count any more higher than that. So
First time we met was what, like 5, 6 years ago? Is it
I
about
think
that?
I think it
Five.
was six. Might have
I
been might have been five, but I think it was six. I could
probably,
look back.
I was probably a little bit more cheery faced when you met me then. So
You seemed like
yeah.
less life had sucked out of your body.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Kind of feel like we might be approaching those days again,
Oh no.
um, which is good. I mean, like the less life sucked out of your body days is what I want. I want like
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah,
yeah,
because
those
I
that's actually what we're seeking is it did feel like, and I talked about this a bit on like Dewey's podcast or Heat Exchanger, Dewey, Jim, Devin. They like we after like I don't know, it's probably 2 hours. We started to circle back to like the things that like what gets us into this is like, oh,
yeah,
general car curiosity, like a general level of excitement about this, and like what's the next step. I like going fast, but I don't like speeding tickets. I don't like endangering people on the general roadways. So we get into racing, we get into stuff like that. And I had kind of lost like just the base general excitement the last, I don't know, probably 2, 3 years.
yeah,
And it started like, I think a lot of people, especially people in the event space, got really like trodden on over 2020. COVID stuff like really kicked you in the face the first 6 months of like just like trying to put people in an environment together. If that was part of your core business model, like you were effed, whether it
yeah.
be a restaurant or like whatever. Unless you were Walmart, then you could like put as many people in the Walmart or Costco as you want.
Doesn't
Um,
seem to matter.
yeah,
I think baking yourself for 3 days at New Jersey was probably not the best either. So.
that was the hottest weekend of my entire life.
God, it was so hot.
But like that sort of takes some of the fun out of it, and then like just the general like the malaise of whatever the last 5, 6 years have been. Like we all have some of that, but it started to become a very hard business, and we were robbing 2024 to pay 2023, robbing 2023 to pay 2022. And just got to a certain point where it's like, what are we doing? Like, this is very hard business to do. And we're throwing some great events that we're very proud of and like some of the best memories of our lives. But then you got to like spend, you know, 1 to 2 months in between those events, just like figuring out how you pay your bills. And Yeah, some of this is it's just a really hard business, especially when you came from no capitalization. Like you bootstrapped your way all the way up to this big thing, and this big thing is a very tenuous position. Like,
And it
if it doesn't,
grew.
yeah, if it doesn't work, like it really doesn't work. And so being, knowing more people and being potentially like slightly capitalized and having like a backstop, like this is what makes us keep going, which to me is like the biggest excitement because like considering bankruptcy for the thing that like you built out of complete love, and then you like turned into like your entire friend and family group, considering bankruptcy on that is like the most gut-wrenching thought. Like it's
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
disgusting.
100%.
And not to say that like we had considered that, but we definitely had considered that. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's a terrible thought. It's uh,
Because as the events grew, the swings got bigger.
yeah, when you start to look at the possibilities of like, oh, what if we do this and we spend more on that and more on advertising, we really double down on this, and like then you start looking at like return on ad spend and blah blah blah, and it's like, well, we're still crossing our fingers all the way to the finish line, and then you hope for that the weather is good,
Yeah.
and
Or the
do you
walk up is good, right?
exactly, if the weather's bad, like the walk up is terrible, like getting to the finish line sometimes doesn't happen until Saturday afternoon of a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. Yeah, hopefully the just kind of like ironcladding our old wooden warship, like lets it not have to worry about those things, and we have gotten to the finish line monetarily, long before we show up on site, or like by the time the gates open, at least, and some of that comes in ad strategy and like smart people buying ads, and we've changed a lot of that stuff in the past 6 months, even um, like some of the buzzwords and stuff that fly around in these conference calls, like I have to Google them because I'm kind of a simpleton as far as some of this, the ever changing like modern landscape of like how you purchase ads and how you like target people and stuff like that. But it's a kind of a fascinating, like feels like I'm going to like marketing 101 all the way up to like a master's class in marketing, like in the same phone call, um,
Mm-hmm.
with a whole bunch of smart people, it's kind of exciting for me. But the ability to like to keep on going is it's like a full on privilege. I can't complain about it. And like people ask like, "Oh man, are you excited, or is this bad, or is this good?" And like I haven't been this excited maybe since like 2019. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
stoked in a long time because it's been a slog. It's been hard. And I'm really excited about the possibility, and especially the possibility for like our team members, like the people that have like sacrificed a whole lot to like come work race events with us, all over the country. Um, the stability this might bring to them, and like the quality that we are, potentially allowed to do at the events now, like doing everything correctly, is has kind of been a goal, like whether it be like insurance, or we've been doing that, whether it be like insurance or like staffing or whatever, doing it quality, doing it well for those people. Like the more solid people and the better you treat them, hopefully the better the event overall. We seem to have alignment across the entire team on that. Like do it right, do it the first time, make a great event. I'm excited to hopefully keep making good events. So yeah, it's nothing but good in my opinion.
How long has Gridlife been around?
We hosted our first event in 2014, but we've been hosting track events since 2004. So yeah, like basically 11 years, 12 years of grid life, and this is like our 22nd, 23rd year of hosting track events. So, uh,
Oh,
way more than, way more than we ever thought we would have been around. It's
right.
been
Now,
a while.
now my question is that I mean, I know Adam Jabay. I know Adam Jabay is just like this really cool guy and he's always kind of out and about. What like is Grid Life yours?
No, I was co-founder of Gridlife with my buddy Chris Stewart, who
Okay.
was primary visionary of this. And Chris came from the ad world.
Mm-hmm.
From the ad world. He's not dead. Uh, he he's
FML still available. Just saying.
I,
Gosh.
he's kind of like the person who, so many years ago, he and I started hosting this West Michigan Honda Meet event together at Gingerbread Raceway. And it was kind of like his idea at first. He was like, if we just give them money, they'll like let us use the racetrack and we can like sell tickets. Can you
Mm-hmm.
believe this? And so like, I was kind of like his right hand guy that weekend, and then over the years, like the whole motorsport side of it, like kind of became like, well, Adam just handles that. And then in 2013 or early 2014, he was like, "Hey, you want to host this other event?" Like we both had friends in like road racing world and in car show world, drift world. Like I was getting into SCCA road racing. We were both doing lemon stuff. He had like produced some music videos with some people and using drift cars and stuff, and he'd been getting into like kind of the assisting his friends in like producing shows around Chicago, EDM shows, stuff like that. He was
Mm-hmm.
into like moped world, which kind of,
Moped world.
yeah, moped world, especially back then, especially like 10, 15 years ago, was like it was like the cutest Hells Angels chapter never thought about. Like they were adorable, nice people. But they were like the adorable, nice version of like the Hells Angels, like Chicago chapter and like the San Diego chapter and all this stuff. And there was a website, it might be around still, Moped Army, and they would host these big rallies, and like people would come from all across the country and the world, and like hundreds of mopeds would like mob these cities for a weekend, and they were always like a really good time. And so like him and some buddies had hosted like some pretty big moped rallies, and like he was always a really big community builder. And I was getting pretty good at like hosting a motorsports event, at least I thought back then, in 2013, 2012, whatever. And I had been to a bunch of SCCA races and Lemons races and NASA stuff, and we were just doing general hobby racetrack stuff. So we threw this one big party at Gingerman Raceway in 2014 that was like supposed to be like the place where all of our friends, our drift friends, our autocross friends, our car show friends, our like cars and coffee before it was called cars and coffee friends, parking lot meet buddies, where they all like wanted to come, and like music was kind of the glue and camping was kind of the glue. And that was what the first and second grid lives were. And then like the time attack series started getting pretty serious, as racers do. They try to be better and better. Like, and we were racers, so we try to make the series better and better and the rule sets better and better. And then I was from like 2015, 2016, I wanted to host a sprint race, like, cause that was my like heart and soul was like, I love doing sprint racing. Like that was the thing that I really loved back then. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Eventually we rolled out Gridlife Touring Cup in 2019, and it became kind of like the like our highest piece. I had to kind of kick it into existence as far as insurance goes, and like even convincing like Chris and some of the team that we were going to do it and it was going to be great. I really had to, I feel like I had to kick it into existence, and like literally sell all the spots myself, like tell all my friends, and then like it just popped and like it turned into this thing. And we started live streaming it, and the live stream quality, we just kept building on it and reinvesting. Like all of this is just, did we make $500? How can we spend $600 next time? Because maybe then we'll make $700 and we can spend $800 next time, and then maybe we'll make $900. It was always like a gamble on the past
Mm-hmm.
to build the future, just to keep building and building and building. So,
You're your own Ponzi scheme.
100%. Yeah, we're definitely, Grid Life is a Ponzi scheme that robs from itself. But just reinvesting into like what it is, and like making it beautiful as far as like even like ads go, and like or silly, or like just like trying to bring in the car curious to a road course, to show them like, oh, you got this 350Z that you like to go to parking lot meets with, and you do burnouts, and your dad, like you can like there's a place where you can like do you can do the thing that like you didn't even know existed, and like maybe it's a safe place, like you won't get the cops won't bust you. You can run time.
Hmm.
You can do HPDE, or you can just like come like set up trackside, build a sick campsite. Like Larry Chan will take pictures of your campsite, half a Formula Drifter, drink all your beer, and they'll smash your tables. Like, uh, best party ever. Whatever. Like, what do you want out of this? Like, there's a lot of ways to like have a best weekend ever at like a big Gridlife festival. And so we try to like make it like a good place for all of those things without letting people like run themselves like actually into walls and hurt themselves like at 2 a.m. when they've had too many. But we literally build like a hospital just in case at Midwest Festival and some of the big events.
Hmm.
Like in a field at Gingerman, like there's a giant hospital tent just in case you like step on something and hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But but it's like it's also kind of like your personal version of like best weekend ever.
Hmm.
Try to build like the place that the most possible people can have their personal version of best weekend ever, and they all have the same thing in common, and it's like cars and music and hanging out with their friends. So that's really like that's the 5 minute of like what do
Hmm.
you what do you do here? So that's
Hmm.
what Gridlife started out to be, and then it like turned into all these other things like Baby IMSA. It like kind of turned into Baby IMSA, which we didn't really mean for it to be, but then a whole bunch of heavy hitters from NASA and SCCA and uh, even like actually IMSA and SRO, and they all started building cars for it, and like Ultimate Streetcar Challenge and Optima, and they all came to one place, and they all became friends too. And then it really like GLTC and some of the higher level time attack stuff, and like now GLGT, and like we brought this other thing, the Rush little mini sports racer cars in, and like they're all competing at a really crazy high level. And I never thought it would get there. Like I never thought it would be respected by like and like the place where people wanted to end up. And I'm sure some people probably look at it like a whole bunch of flat brim idiots that like vape and go to concerts, but it also probably is the highest level amateur stuff in the country. And we didn't, on average, across all these classes and stuff, and like it happens all these. It's like the SEC of runoffs, but it's over and over and over. Like we didn't expect that, but it also is like, all right, now it's here, so you kind of owe it something. You have to like keep doing it because like if they want this and they've put all this effort in, like, okay, we owe it to them to like give them the high level competition and like the beautiful live stream and the best weekend ever over and over. So it's kind of like rocking a hard place. Like, didn't mean to build this. Guess we built that. We should probably maintain that. We should probably still try to make it fun and remind them that it's fun. And like, there's several of our drivers this year that are like going to run Pro Series also, which is
Wow.
yeah, it's bizarre, but like like Matan Rosenberg's running. He's like got a factory Hyundai ride in SRO, and he's also running GLGT, and he's a two-time TC champion. And he started out driving Crown Vics with us when he was 15 in HPDE.
That was like 3 years ago because he's not exactly old.
It was only like 5, 6 years ago. Yes, it was. But yeah, it's become this whole thing that like you start spinning one plate, and then you're like, oh my gosh, how many plates are spinning? And but like we're getting pretty good at balancing these plates. Um, Hopefully we can keep spinning these plates because like we really like seeing all these plates happen, and like their spinning is important to us. And so that's where we're at. We're like trying to maintain the ability to spin a lot of plates, which given the some of the recent changes, like yeah, oh man, we got a lot more fingers to spin these plates and make sure everything balances, which is very exciting.
Did
So
you ever like think it would get so big so
uh,
fast?
no, never, not in my wildest dreams. In 2019, we're going to host a couple of sprint races, and I thought, well, 2019 was like peak grid life for me. It was like pre-COVID. We were kind of on a rocket ship as far as like spectators go. Like we thought like some of these events were getting really big. We were at the time like doing okay money wise. Like we were paying a few salaries. Track rentals were way cheaper. Insurance was like fairly reasonable. We were still semi Midwest, so we were like driving, trucking to all the events. We had done some events down in Atlanta. 2019 was our last year in Atlanta until we went back last year with Formula Drift in 2025. Um, but like Atlanta was our farthest away event. And then we like started doing some events in Colorado Springs. And that even that was like a 1 day drive. Wasn't that far. And then we started dabbling in the West Coast. In California, we did some events at Streets of Willow. And then we did Big Willow. And then, I mean, a couple of years ago, we've done Thunder Hill now. We've done Laguna Seca. Like we have like we've played in a lot of like sandboxes and a lot of these areas too. Like the East Coast is very different than the Midwest, and the Midwest is very different than like Central, like call it Central, whatever Colorado would be.
Hmm.
And then it's so different from the West Coast. But also, like all of these people, especially in the last 10 years, have like become friends on Facebook and on forums anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
starting to look for a reason to go like visit their friends out there, like meet those people that they've been talking to, or whose posts they've been seeing, or whose cars they've admired from like, the internet or magazines, even when magazines were more of a thing. Um, and so it's kind of been fun to see like the organic, like, yeah, I'll truck out to California a couple times, so make some friends. Or like when you see all of Michigan, Indiana, Chicago, Wisconsin, like in 2016, our first time in Atlanta, they all like trailered to Atlanta. And it
Oh,
was like a 2/3, like it was, I think it was like 55 or 65% of our drivers that event, our first event, Road Atlanta, which was a pretty good festival. It was, it was fine. And that event popped off in a couple of years too. We had like
mm-hmm.
Ludacris, we had a whole bunch of like pretty big music acts. Not the first year, but like second, third, fourth year. But to see all of our friends like truck down and just spend time at a new racetrack and like meet a whole bunch of new people, because Road Atlanta had been like this like a hot spot for Global Time Attack for several years. And so they all like got to go head to head, and but then they all became friends because they're all the same person. Like if you go to a racetrack, like you're, even if somebody has a completely different car and like a completely different job, and their watch is worth $10,000 and you wear a Timex, like you're the same person. It doesn't matter. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can spend all this money, but like, okay, we kind of want the same thing out of this. Very rarely do you not have like more in common than you don't with the person next to you in the hot pits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been fun to see like the company grow, as far as like the people we keep coming to racetracks and going to racetracks with, and like seeing them like make new friends. And like it's still all of this, like the biggest thing, like the beating heart of it is really community building. And I'm rambling now, but like community is kind of the thing that we think a lot about. I like a lot about, but it's also the hardest thing to like put your thumb on, of like, how do we do this?
Mm-hmm.
What's there's no secret, like there's no secret recipe. I think like the more I think about it, like I think the biggest key to success early on, and especially like 2019, 2020, 2021, I think the key to success was like the Gridlife staff was like approachable and nice, and they tried to be friends with the people that were driving with them. Um, and the people that were driving with them came and made new friends, and you just like built and built and built. And I think this, like, it never gets talked about. Everybody talks about rules. They talk about entry fees. They talk about live streams, whatever. To me, I mean, at least from my side, which is much more motorsports than like marketing and camping and music and stuff like that. But to me, like the thing that if you do it right is like go up to somebody and ask them two or three questions, and then just try to remember their name and like show some interest in another fellow human. They show interest in you, and then you just have a new friend. Like the more
Mm-hmm.
the more new actual real friends you have, like that's life is actually like better.
What is it? It's like um what is it? Race people make the best friends. Race people are the best people, especially in the meat space.
It the most competitive people, and like, you can make some enemies so fast. It's so much harder to make an enemy than it is to make a friend.
It really is.
But so many people forget, especially as we get older, like we forget how much fun it is to like go make a new friend. Like
Well, I mean, if you also think about it too, it's just social media has pulled us out of like the real world. So
under
it's really important to
There is no
have,
spoon.
right? It's really important to get out there and do these things. And no matter what it is, if it's racing, if it's marathons, if it's kayaking or something, it's just getting out and just meeting people
it's
and
yeah,
being in the same space because people are so thirsty for that. They don't
and
even realize how thirsty they are for it.
they don't even realize it. They don't.
Hmm.
We forget, being in 40s, 50s, whatever age we are, we forget how natural it was before the internet for us to be like, I'm thrown into a new place. All right, who's this person? I'm gonna go make this friend. We're having a good day.
Hmm.
This happens
Yeah.
so. And I watch my daughter who like she's watched YouTube, but she really doesn't go on the internet. She doesn't have social media. She's 11. It's so easy for her to make friends. I watch my nieces and nephews. They're all under 5. It's so easy to go make friends. Like it's just such
Hmm.
a natural human thing. But then like you spend 10 years on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and suddenly like you're like at a completely different place with interactions. Like
Yeah.
you're combating and you're like fighting for the most attention. And it's like it's such a toxic way to view life.
Hmm.
So like I mean you kind of look at like a 20 or 30-year old, you have to like almost give them like a couple they need like a handicap on friendship. You got to ask them like 5 questions instead of 3 to break them out of their natural competitiveness, because like maybe they like your shoes and they're mad at you now because they like your shoes, or like your car, you pull up next to them and like, oh, clearly you have better wheels than me, so I hate you now. Like this is like some of the hurdles that you see just with like the way generations have gone through life. And so, I mean, it's not like something you can really like put an SOP to fix together,
Hmm.
but I mean, like the core of some of these events or any event is
It's
just,
community building.
we're all going to go to the same place. We're all going to do the
Hmm.
same. So generally, we're probably all going to be friends if we let ourselves. So like, go
Hmm.
and just like let yourself be friends with someone. Um,
Hmm.
If you don't like them, then don't be friends with them. Maybe go be friends with somebody else. If that person next to you sucks, maybe they just kind of suck. But also, like, doesn't mean everybody sucks at the racetrack. Uh,
Mm-mm.
it,
But
it,
even, you know what, even if they do, I really think that people meet on the same level, like you said, at some point. And I know that in the racing that I do, it's just so easy to walk up and talk to somebody, anybody, because they're so passionate about what they do and they just want to share it.
yeah,
And
and it
and
probably
you're equally as passionate about it and you just want to know. And
it's
I do know the competitiveness kind of gets in the way a little bit, but genuinely, there are people that you can sit down and have like a nice beer with or a glass of wine or something like that and just, hey, let's talk about those wheels you got. Where'd you get them? They're pretty badass, you know?
it feels like the younger your audience in paddock, also like the more you have to remind them to be friends, which is odd, but it does seem to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've kind of broken some of that, because like there's always somebody awake in a garage and there's 10 people hanging out, like no matter the hour.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not always a thing when you're into an older paddock like I was at SCCA or whatever, because they'll go to bed and they'll go to the hotel or they go in their toter or whatever. I am really thankful that we have a young paddock that like stays up and fixes everybody else's crap. And I like the thing that I'm like most excited about now is maybe the ability to be excited again to go see all my friends. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
get to a place where this became like there was a couple events where, and largely the events that I fear the most or feared the most in the past over the last few years, because we were going into them at like a huge deficit. Like we were upside down. We're talking like $600,000 or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
we need a beautiful Friday and Saturday. We need the advertising to work, like the radio ads, like the Spotify ads, the gas station pump ads, whatever. But you drive to these events on like a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, and it feels like you're going to your death. Like it feels like you're driving to your own execution when that is happening, and you don't have that money. So you're going to have to figure it out on the backside. Um, I just don't want to feel that anymore. I want to be able,
Mm-hmm.
and we've kind of gotten past some of that last year. We like started to pick up some of those pieces of years past. I didn't feel like I was driving to my death at all last year, which was a
Mm-hmm.
lovely change. But we are also dragging around a whole bunch of events that like I drove to, and it felt like you're going to your execution. But that does take some of the like the spark out of like wanting to talk to the people that you talk to a couple times, 2, 3 times a year. And I think like if you have a whole bunch of that, like this business is too hard. So I am not stoked to be here, but I have to be here because it's part of my job. And like if you like spread that vibe across a whole bunch of like staff, like the whole event's gonna suffer too.
Mm-hmm.
Thing that I would love to completely go away is that like that dirge feeling, like driving to your execution. I don't want to ever feel that. I don't want any of our employees to feel that. I don't want any of our staff to feel that. I want them to be like, man, great racetrack, Watkins Glen. Get to go back to Watkins Glen. It's going to be so sick. Can't wait, man. What a pretty
Mm-hmm.
get to go to, that one turn that I really liked, or like, hey, damn, that's the biggest hot pit I've ever seen in my entire life. The grandstands are huge. How come they let us be here? Like I want the excitement that we had the first time we go there. Like I'm excited to go back because like we never like got to finish that story. I'm excited to finish that story. I can't wait to like go back to Road America someday and like and be our just keep building and just the fact that I'm like now excited about it, like that's what leads me to think that like we needed this change. Our drivers needed this change. Our staff needs this change. I think it's gonna be good for the entirety of like if it's good for us, if it's good for our drivers, it's probably good for the sport. And if it's good for the sport, it's good for like even our competitors. Like we have competitors that have drivers, and like competitors meaning other sanctioning bodies, other series. Like we have drivers that have crossed over to them. They're like this is all like rising tides, raise the boats, whatever. Like um,
Mm-hmm.
it
A merger.
yeah, it all relies like this entire sport though relies on all these little 20-minute conversations. If like if everybody went to the racetrack and didn't talk to anybody, like the sport would not be very cool. And like all the conversations need to be good. I'm excited for our conversations to hopefully be good and positive next year. So this year, like starting in a month, whenever we have to start.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm kind of I'm stoked to be stoked again. And
Mm-hmm.
hope our drivers and our staff and everybody else is, because I think if Gridlife staff and Gridlife drivers are stoked about racing, um, that bodes well for racing. Like bodes well for like racetracks, for like HPDEs and time attack, and um, yeah, it's like let's rise that tide.
Mm-hmm.
So, being the uh, experienced podcast host that we are, we jumped in the middle of this, and some of our listeners may not even know what we're talking about. So,
So we talked about the origins of Gridlife, so they know
yes,
that.
but I'm just saying the expansion of the team. You
Yeah.
know, you and Chris are now not just you and Chris and
You're
your team that works with you. You've got a bigger family of friends and resources.
So last year at Midwest Festival, right beforehand, a guy named James Schieffer had reached out. I forget who we contacted first. It was Chris or Michael, our CEO, who also like mostly sells our partnerships all the time and works all the hours, and he just kills it. It reached out to one of those two and got in touch with Chris. And so James Schieffer he had sold his ad agency. I don't remember the name of his ad agency, but he had built it from like literally zero to hundreds of employees. But his father was like a national level and national or international champion drag racer back in the day, like 60s, 70s, 80s. His grandfather started a big clutch company, clutch and disc brake stuff, I think, and I think it was Luck or one of those sacks. I don't remember, but I started a big one and was also the first SEMA Hall of Fame inductee in 69, 67. But he also was like one of the founders of SEMA, like James's grandfather. James is our new like FMA CEO. So he had this idea to put this like group together. Um, because he was pretty closely aligned with Racer and ID Agency, who's like a pretty automotive centric ad agency. That's a big agency. They're like one of Ford's agency of record. They do all the Mattel's Hot Wheels tour, that kind of stuff, like stuff you've seen. They do some really cool stuff. Chris and Victor from ID Agency had like talked off and on for several years. They like knew each other, had become friends, I think, at SEMA and at some other event. I forget which one, but so there's like a lot of like, oh, we know that person. Oh, great. That dude's great. That person's awesome. That company does great stuff. We like that company. Like we'd been friends with Paul Fanner, the founder of Racer, ever since Chris did a talk before PRI, the E-Part Trade like industry talks. Chris had done one, and Paul Fanner, the founder of Racer, had reached out. We had like some of the coolest conversations with Paul. I've never even met Paul in real life, but I've been on conference calls with him for like 10 hours, just talking about industry and talking about like what can we do together. And this is going back 4 or 5 years. We had some articles in Racer. Like there's a lot of ambition to like keep working with them. A couple years ago, we did a NASCAR support series event. We were part of like with Carrera Cup, we were like supporting the Xfinity series at Road America, and Racer put an article out, and like it was like the highest like shared article of like the month for them, like thousands of shares that like Gridlife is going to be a support series for NASCAR. And that's like stuff like that was really exciting for us. Is like just reaching this new audience and like legitimizing what our drivers do and like what we are. Um, so these like three companies, ID Agency and Racer and Gridlife, all knew each other, and James liked all of us, James Schieffer, and he like started trying to put some dollars together from the right people that that could like turn these into one company and like just kind of align because we all have the same people that do the same things. So like if you do it better together, like that's how you like rise yourself monetarily or just do cooler stuff. So like it just makes business sense to like do it together versus do it separate. Um, and so he's sort of like kicking and screaming, push this thing through, found the right people. Some of the people behind it, like literally are longtime IMSA drivers. They have been in the
Ooh.
sport ever, the Dysons, and there's a whole bunch of like really cool people behind it. So it's not like some group you've never heard of. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a Hall of Famer is like one of the people that put money into this. It's wild. So
Wow.
yeah, it's the right people, the right time. It feels correct. Feels like the right
Mm-hmm.
place to park our energies, and hopefully a good use of their funds to like keep building this thing, which
Mm-hmm.
is awesome. So it's like also humbling. It's like weird to talk about, like because I've generally being like a Dutch Reformed Christian person, I like kind of hate everything I do, and like I would rather like it kind of feels weird to talk about, but
Mm-hmm.
it feels really good for our staff and for our drivers to like say, hey, this is like the goal is for this to be here to stay. So like
Mm-hmm.
drivers that have been building their lives around this for 8, 9, 10 years, like you look at and some of them built pretty good social profiles, and like they've turned into like influencers on their own right. Like you look at like a case examples like an Eric Catil. Eric Catil's first time on a road course, he had like started a group chat with me and three of my buddies asking about like Honda Civics, like how do you set it up for a road course? And like and now he almost won the runoffs a few times. He's been a GLTC champion. He's won a ton of races. He's one of the more high profile people in our paddock. and he's like literally built his life around this. Like we want to do right by that. We want to do right by like the person that like today. I still have a construction company. I go to my yard. I rent part of an old lumber yard, and there was a car at one of the office buildings that had a Gridlife banner, Gridlife window stickers. It's a Slam Subaru, like nice looking Subaru, not slammed in a bad way, like in a tasteful way. Pretty new WRX. And I don't know who this person is, but like that person thinks that we're cool enough that they want to put giant stickers on their car, and they paid us to put them on their car because they're enthusiastic about the sport. And so it's good for that person, and it's good for like a Catil, and it's good for everybody in between. I don't know, like it's bizarre to like be in this position. It's humbling to be in this position that like people want this to go. They want to see it keep going. So like I guess we don't have any choice but to like make it totally awesome. So like boo hoo. I guess we're gonna do that. So
Apparently, you've made a lot of the right decisions along the way. Um, and running out of runway, there's nothing wrong with running out of runway. Was such a
Unless
great
you're driving
thing.
the plane.
Yeah. And then having people hopping in saying, "Hey, this thing is a really great,
yeah,
this is a really great thing. This is worth it."
yeah, it feels like we weren't out of runway, but like we really need a little bit more thrust, and like we need to
Yes.
pull
Yes.
harder. It's nice to have people like come in and pull harder on the stick and like
Mm-hmm.
push the thruster through the dashboard.
Like this could really like take off. This could really, really take off.
But like what I was saying earlier is like it's also like it's hard to do this if you aren't stoked about it because it's been so hard to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to
Taking
do this even.
some of that like say you guys went to a Champ Car or Lemons Car race, and then you went to that one and blew up, your car blew up, and you went to the next one, your car blew up, and you like went to 15 of them, and your car blew up, and your RV exploded, and the beer tasted bad, and like you just did that, and you're like, we have to keep doing this because this is what we do. So, but like it feels like the beer tastes good now, and like the car didn't blow up anymore. It like takes some of that like the micro problems away, and this is really fun to do, and having some more team behind it, there's a lot to be excited about. Like I want to be stoked to meet and greet everybody at the gates again, which is kind of the last couple of years has been like my favorite part of the weekend is like, oh, just put Adam at the gates. He'll talk to all the drivers. He'll start everybody's weekend off in the right spot. And I don't want to fake that enthusiasm. I've had to fake that enthusiasm a few times. Generally, when I see my friends, my driver friends, whatever, like the enthusiasm is not faked. But I have had to fake some enthusiasm just because I didn't always want to be at an event. I'm excited to not have to fake it here and there. And yeah, just get back to what we always wanted to do is throw the best weekend ever. And if we can keep throwing the best weekend ever, then then great. We'll just keep refining, we'll keep building and
Mm-hmm.
keep, you know, upping the ante for like what the sport is allowed to do, what amateur racing's even allowed to do, you know.
Yeah.
We're stoked to be excited again, which is fun. It's been needed.
That's good.
So
That's really good.
I may have missed it, but it sounded like you were doing a hypothetical. You said if we went to a race and the car broke, and then we went to another race and the car broke, and we went to like 15 races and the car broke and the RV broke. What is the hypothetical part? Because I'm
What if
where's the hypothetical? That's like last 2 years.
excited to see if that didn't happen. I'm
Oh,
thinking
okay. It could not happen. Yeah, I guess. Hopefully.
it might happen too often, but like think how
Well,
stupid. That's to me it was like we hosted a lot of really fun events, and but like they weren't always the most fun for us. I really want them to be fun for us too, you know. Like I want to be stoked to be there because it makes sense to be there and it's good long term for us, for the drivers, for the staff, for whatever. That's the exciting part is, and not to say that we were like on this road to, you know, perdition or whatever. It wasn't like the sky wasn't falling, but the sky's a lot higher now than it was a couple months
right,
ago.
right. I mean, you guys were killing yourselves, your whole team, and the events kept getting bigger. which meant the swings get bigger, which meant
Yeah, you saw it. You saw it.
it's just, and when you're looking at, you know, house type number
Oh yeah,
of negative stuff, that's not good. And I don't think people,
wins get big, but also the
yeah,
potential anti-wins get big too.
yeah. And it's just, it doesn't take too many of those in a row to be in a bad spot. And I don't think people realize that with this business and honestly with most businesses. It's
Yeah, margins are slim and really, really almost like if you have a job,
yeah,
there's somebody above you who's probably pretty stressed about this,
yeah,
about
yeah,
your day to day. You might not give two shits about your job, but there's somebody who like wants your paycheck to work.
yep,
Uh, and they might maybe they had a really good year 5 years ago, last year,
maybe.
but like that person has probably like rolled some pretty big dice to like keep the ability for you to have a job,
Yeah.
like like for your company to exist, whatever. And sometimes it like turns. I didn't want to be, and really like the thing that I'm most excited about is my one of my best friends is Chris Stewart, like co-founder, founder, whatever you're gonna call him. He's the majority partner. Like I missed the tone of voice on phone calls yesterday, the day before, whatever. Uh, I have 2019 Chris Stewart back. And I feel like my motorsports team and like my driver friends have like 2019 me back. Um, there was like the tone has like it's a big change in like just excitement. It just needed a pressure relief. Like we needed a little bit of help. It wasn't a bad business. It wasn't a great business. We definitely needed a little bit of help to make it a totally sick business.
Hmm.
Uh, Hopefully we found the right people to do that with, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got your friend back.
Yeah, Chris is stoked about like the other day. So often he'll call me on the drive back from the office. Like it's like 6 o'clock at night Chicago time.
So his full-time job is just counting the money that you rake in from Gridlife, obviously. I mean, that office.
I don't know how this works, but
I'm just repeating what I see on the
I don't
internet.
know. Call me at 6 or 6:30, and he'll like vent to me about what's stressing him out, and like we talk about it, like we create some potential solutions, and like we jump into it the next day, right?
Hmm.
And the other day he called me. This is last week, maybe. And I had like grown to almost dread his 6:30 p.m. calls. And the other day he calls me and I say, "Hey man, what's up?" He's like, "Just calling to say hey." Like just calling to say hey. Are you all right? Like that hadn't happened in a while. Hadn't happened in years. And I'm pretty stoked that it could happen again.
That's
Which
awesome.
yeah, it's and then we like obviously like talked about some stuff, personnel things. We talked about business stuff, like whatever, like yeah, we're really worried about this, got to do that. This person that might need some help. But this is going great. Stoked about this. Uh like there's more to be excited about, which is it's sometimes needed. So
That's awesome.
could ramble forever, but just have him say just called to say hey.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That's that must have been an amazing feeling after that. If I
And
did feelings, I'd be feeling amazed, but I don't.
Mhm.
I try not to.
I wouldn't do feelings if you can help it. So
I stay robot as much as possible. So,
yeah,
He's not lying.
no.
I'm, I feel feelings very deeply. Like people that like I'm in group chats with, they probably know that. It's real big highs and lows, and like it's but it's also like it's kind of it's almost like a valuable skill. Like you need to be able to read the room. You need to like see, see problems before they show up. Like like it actually like feelings very big is like a skill if you can utilize it. And I've tried to like actually turn it into like a valuable skill for the company, but it's not easy to live with. It's not always the easiest thing to live with. But if you can minimize some lows, some of the low feelings are
Mm-hmm.
the ones that take all of the joy out of the high feelings.
Yep.
And even like, 1% better every day. Like that's a saying that, like, if you can do that in 100 days, like, you're in a better spot. And that's kind of been a motto of mine for like the last year and a half, is like, just keep on going, like, manage the feelings better every day, manage the internal, like the tornado of thought every day. If you can manage it just a little bit better every day, um, great. But if you get an opportunity like what we got the opportunity of now, you'd be insane to to not to not join a team like this. Because like we went from being able to be 1% better every day to being like, okay, well, we just like reset the playing field, and now we get to be 1% better every day from like a level that we never even dreamed to be at. We get to work from there versus like dig out of a hole, which is very like, yeah, it's I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed to be a part of the team and to be able to keep going. So
So things that we've seen on the internet. Is there any truth to Winston becoming the title sponsor so you can be the Winston Gridlife Cup?
I freaking hope so, man. Wouldn't it be cool if Winston advertised? That'd be the sickest.
Well, I'm thinking they're not allowed to advertise on TV, but if you do the YouTube, you probably have a loophole.
What if they only pay us in cigarettes and we just have a really big cigarette dispenser?
I
And
mean,
that's
you know, I don't think that's the best for the long-term health of your clients, but it is a path.
I don't smoke either, so it wouldn't do me any good. But
Well,
Mhm.
and when the logos from like back in the day,
hmm
uh, and when they disallowed advertising, there was like a certain timeline where those logos from cigarette companies were like, they were, I mean, they weren't copyrighted anymore or trademarked anymore, whatever you call it. So we made a whole bunch of like fun generic merch that like kind of mimicked some of those logos. It was the coolest merch of all time too. Like, those are the coolest logos.
I know.
Yeah, that stuff.
Remember when they had the fake Marlboro coloring because they couldn't put the word, but they had everything else?
Oh yeah, we had a rush car actually that was, it was literally in a marble livery, and there were FCC sensors that were like trying to like encroach on our stream and like
You're not a
chop.
broadcast.
Well, we kind of are at a certain point that it like got to be this like weird gray area, and I forget
Mhm.
how it escalated, but we did ask that rush driver. He only drove a couple of live streamed events, but we did ask him, like, you have to take the Marlboro words off. You
Yeah, the
can't.
words have to go. Yeah.
There's like actual like federal law that says you can't do that.
But
Uh,
I don't even play a
just like,
lawyer on TV. But if you're not broadcasting on the federal airwaves, their rules don't apply.
yeah, I know it did get weird though. Like the conversation
It's not worth
escalated.
fighting, but
The conversation escalated way higher than I thought it actually would.
that's wacky.
But
All right,
sick logo. Sick logo.
questions. What does this do to? I'm just doing what the internet wants me to ask. I'm asking you hard questions. I don't. You're not a data center, so we got that one taken care of. What's going on with the live stream? Any? Is it going away? Is it YouTube gone, or where are we going?
Strap in. It's gonna be so sick. It's gonna be so sick.
That's what I love to hear. My favorite racing broadcast, bar none.
There's going to be a whole bunch of so the team that we worked with last year, we had a really great live stream team for 4 or 5 years. They were like literally friends of ours that like just tried really hard. They burned themselves out, like sort of didn't want to do this anymore. So we moved to Project Prime out of Florida last year, who like started doing stuff with like Cletus McFarland and a whole bunch of people out of Florida. And man, they crushed it last year. The
It was
CMP, like,
nice.
first day they were like getting their feet under them, and then they just got better and better every single day. They've got such great ideas right now, and Kyle Heyer is just he's put so much effort and time into trying to make it look cool from a tech back end. And he the Gridlife.club is the new like driver interface,
hmm
which ticket you buy a ticket, like the email gets referenced to Gridlife.club. You get either encouraged to start an account, or if you have an account, it links your ticket to it. So like it's got all of the driver data. Everything is accessible to the live stream. Like the whole thing is like years worth of effort into like, here's what we want to do, but it's so hard to do. Here's what we want to do, but it's so hard to do. And like now it's working. So the live stream, as far as like data for announcers, data for just visualizations, like some of the cool stuff they're talking about doing. I don't want to. I don't even want to talk about the stuff that I've heard is going to happen, but there's a bunch of stuff that's going to happen.
All right.
And it's going to be on YouTube still, and then it's also going to be on Racer TV, which is like Mav TV on cable. So it's going to be literally accessible on your cable box in some format, which is going to be wild. So like hundreds of millions of people, maybe, or 50 million people now have access to it via the thing because they don't go on YouTube, but they do have cable.
Yep.
So like it does broaden it broadens like just the reach of our drivers to build up their own programs, the reach of us to like build our program. Like it's just exciting. It's a lot to be excited about.
Woohoo!
Excellent. Cannot wait. And then the last one, because we want to be, well, who are we kidding? We want to be respectful. We don't want to take up your entire evening. So you talked about it a little bit. One of the things that I got concerned about, not because I thought you were making a bad decision, but I was concerned about it for your long-term sustainability. You were essentially forced to get rid of your HPDE just due to track time, weekend time, logistical reasons. Is there any thoughts towards either bringing that back in some way or having some type of feeder to keep growing? Because once Eric's running Indy in 2 years, apparently, or Matan is, F1, you're going to need to replace those cars. So is there any kind of feeder plan, training
So
partnership, maybe?
couple of years ago, we did our last Gridlife HPDE, but then last year we did several. They were just Gingerman Raceway events, but we did several events that did have HPDE. But HPDE has been less and less easy to sell out because of the like. It feels like almost a race to the bottom as far as event promotion goes. Everybody
Mm,
wants to host an HPDE whenever they can get a weekend, and then they want to sell it for as cheap as possible, so they sell it out. And like it feels like everybody just wants to lose money on HPDs. So you're being compared to somebody who's actually losing money on HPDs at like $200 a day or whatever.
right.
Nowadays, it's like you can't do it for $200 a day, especially with like a semi-pro staff hosting the event. Even if it's like you got to look at it on a per hour basis. It's like
Hmm.
it's thing too. A couple of years ago, we like phased them out of festivals, like actually just because we had so much demand for time attack, so much demand for drift, and
Rush came in, all of that.
yeah, Rush is selling 30 to 50 car fields, and then like the thought of like we've had so much inquiry about like a slightly higher horsepower, wheel to wheel class. So it did get kind of kicked out of festivals, except for Sunday afternoons or test and tunes prior to the events. But the thing that we like, the heart and soul for Chris and I, and for John, and for a bunch of the team is like club events. We really we loved hosting really fun club weekends where there's no live stream. But like there's high level time attack. There's like maybe like a little bit less stress wheel to wheel if there is a wheel to wheel event. And then just intermediate, advanced, and beginner HPD. Like we love doing that. We've done it forever.
Hmm.
And then there's some ambition from Racer and from some people inside of Racer to like host a really what's the pot like just the question of like how do you host a really accessible HPDE? Like what are the thoughts? What are the goals? So like there's a bunch of like combined and aligned thoughts on like what we want to do. So this
Hmm.
does open up the possibility if we have like a really established and stable team hosting 6 to 10 large events or medium-sized events. Probably festival events doesn't get more than 6 realistically. That's kind of where we're at.
Hmm.
We've tried the model of like a festival event and then like a couple of supporting events that are like club style. Um,
Hmm.
It's actually probably where we will go back to is if we're not super stressed about money or like just like manpower or like burning ourselves to the literally burning ourselves out, like it does introduce the ability to like do a logical club style event that supports the big events.
Right.
So kind of the hope. That's definitely the hope. So
That would be fantastic.
yep.
It's
So
awesome because eventually it's kind of like when you put everything behind a paywall, you're not growing any new customers.
oh, sure, yeah, for sure.
And, you just don't want to, it's rocking and rolling right now. No issues right now, but eventually you
Well,
need to have that next gen.
yeah, we've also seen we've seen ourselves become like a place that people from other orgs will transition into. So we're definitely getting new drivers, which is great, but we don't rob those orgs either. So you want to build up just like you said from like cradle to the grave. You want to like build it all the way through
Mm-hmm.
versus like just be the place that a bunch of axe murderers come to chop each other into pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Just be that either, like not to say that we're the only place for that, but like it does kind of feel that way when you look at some of the higher level habitat and wheel to wheel. It's a place that a whole bunch of axe murderers from other places have came to hit each other with axes,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it's we
Over and over.
and it does become like an intimidating like to be blunt, it is an intimidating place to jump into for somebody like me that's like a mid pack Larry.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it takes some
Mid-pack Larry.
to go to LTC away. But I would be much more inclined to go run a club round that had, like a bunch of mid pack Larrys trying to have a good time together. So like there's a lot of goal to have a bunch of club rounds as well, which I think we will get back to. That's the plan, that's the hope, and that's definitely the march towards. So
That sounds great. Well, I can't uh, express how happy I am that this is working out for you. I hope everything comes out exactly how you foresee it, maybe even better.
that's
And it's good for you to start, getting some enthusiasm and love back into the sport. I mean, we had a tough year last year. You looked like you were still putting up the good fight, but oof,
it
could he
was
could he used a little bit of
it's a long year.
TLC sometimes.
And it's like this really only is just to keep on going, to keep building, and really we owe it to the people that have helped us get here. Like there's people that have worked grid for like 6, 8, 10 years for us.
Hmm.
People don't even know their names, but they fist bump, Andrew or Carson or Dalen or Justin or
Yep.
whoever. Like the drivers know them,
Yep.
but they haven't even like said hello to them yet. But like these people are just so into grid life. We want grid life to be the place that they can come work 4, 5, 6 times a year, and like have it be the place that like they're part of it. And if it doesn't exist, or if it exists in some stupid way or some different way, that doesn't make sense. Like
No.
it needs to be the best possible version of what it is. So like we owe it to them, to us, to the staff, to the drivers, just to like the community. Like a good grid life means a good community around it, and a good community around it is probably good for the sport, and blah blah blah. So
Hmm. Well, this should be fantastic. We will make our annual pilgrimage to Lime Rock. We still have our open invite for you to stop by, either on the way in or on the way out, because we will bribe you with large pieces of cow. And can't wait to see you again.
if my Honda Fit hadn't shed a spark plug right out the top of it last year, there was like a halfway decent chance you were getting a text from me.
That's fine. We have Honda Fit spark plugs, if you need it. So
Took all the threads with it, and it came back home on a trailer, and it's a
s-
whole.
we have a spare engine if you need one. It's sitting in
Oh, I
there.
sold the Honda Fit.
I know. No, I was just
Yeah,
saying if you're driving by and you need a new engine, we probably have one. If it's a car we've had, I've probably got too many spare parts for it. So
probably just buy cars that you have. Maybe buy cars that you have, and then use you as an intermediary in between me and events.
yeah, absolutely. We can be the less advanced auto parts store.
Less.
Oh man. Well,
Oh,
thank you again for coming on, Adam. It's always great fun.
yep. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you, and thanks for having an open mind about this whole thing. Some people definitely didn't, and it was like hard to see that, but it was also like overwhelming the amount of people that are like, "Is this good for you?" And when we say, "Yeah," they're like, "Sick." Is it good for the company? Oh, it's even better for the company. And then they're just pure excited, and it's excited to have open-minded friends. So
Well,
And can Adam Jabaay breathe easy
uh,
a little bit?
yeah, but I'm gonna sleep a little better. I'm gonna
There
sleep.
you
that's
go.
awesome.
It was
That's
fun.
Yeah.
awesome.
It's fun to have my friend Chris call me and say, just calling to say hey. And
Hmm.
like it was,
Yeah.
but that was like to me that was like that was the biggest change. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
so with that behind you, all you have to do now is avoid having another tornado tear down the playset, right?
yeah, tornadoes, thunderstorms, floods, what
Data
else?
centers.
Data centers encroaching on ability in Pennsylvania. Big windstorms. We've had sandstorms in California. We've had hailstorms.
Super fog.
We've had insane fog. We haven't had an earthquake. We haven't had we haven't had nuclear war. Like there's a few things we haven't had. I hope we don't have those.
Yeah. Let's keep that as a zero in the scorecard.
I wouldn't mind aliens. Aliens coming down and like spectating some TC or time attack.
I don't know, Adams. I've seen some of your drivers drive. I'm thinking you got some aliens there, buddy.
I mean, like the starship with the
Ah,
lights
that
and
kind. Okay, yeah. All
but
right.
no more fog. We gotta be done with those things. So,
You know what you got to worry about though? If you have aliens come down, then William Shatner's going to come to a race. He's going to start kissing all up on them. It's going to be terrible, Adam.
everybody loves William Shatner too.
That's true. That's true. I'd have him on the podcast. I don't care if he drives.
I think he's still alive even. So,
He is. He is. He still goes. There's a whole bunch of fun stories about him. He's constantly confusing somebody that I'm friends with who lives near him as that he's somebody else, and he's so nice and so old that they're not going to ever correct him, so they just keep going by the wrong name.
yeah, he's got a lot of interesting stories that follow him.
He does. He's been to space for real. He's been to space fake times, like thousands of times.
All right.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks for coming on, Adam.
That's it.
Bye.